What happens when the city sold as the world's safest global hub suddenly becomes a part of war headline? For years, Dubai has been marketed as the place where money, ambition, luxury, and global mobility meet. A city where millionaires buy property, entrepreneurs set up companies, professionals build careers, and long-term residents feel they are part of something bigger than just a visa. But during the recent West Asia conflict, one uncomfortable question entered the room. Is the Dubai dream still a reality, or is it becoming a myth? The question became louder during the recent conflict in the Middle East. Flights were disrupted, airspace was restricted, travelers were stranded, markets reacted, and real estate buyers hesitated. For a city that has long been seen as safe, stable, and globally connected, this created a moment of doubt. And that is the part many people don't want to say openly. Some wealthy families and entrepreneurs repeatedly began exploring whether their assets should be diversified beyond Dubai, including markets like Singapore and Hong Kong. Wealth advisors saw more clients asking whether they were too exposed to one region. Property buyers started negotiating harder, and many sellers reduced expectations. So yes, the crisis exposed something real. Dubai is powerful, but it is not isolated from geopolitics. It is a global hub sitting in a sensitive region. When missiles, airspace closures, oil routes, and investor sentiments enter the same conversation, even the strongest city has to prove itself again. But here is the part many people miss. These geopolitical and macroeconomic questions are not unique to Dubai. Look across the world, and every traditional wealth hub is facing its own version of uncertainty. Take Hong Kong. For years, Hong Kong was the gateway to China and one of Asia's most important financial centers. But changing political dynamics, closer integration with mainland China, and rising geopolitical tensions between China and the West have made some global investors and family offices reassess how much exposure they want there. Then there is Singapore. Singapore remains one of the strongest and best governed financial centers in the world. It continues to attract serious capital. But as more wealth flows into the city-state, costs have also surged. Luxury real estate has become expensive. Regulations around anti-money laundering, family offices, and wealth structures have become tighter, and even residency is not easy to secure. So, investors are asking a very practical question. Even if Singapore is stable, should too much wealth be concentrated in just one jurisdiction? And the same shift is happening in the United Kingdom. For decades, London was considered the gold standard for global wealth, property, legal stability, and financial markets. But after Brexit, slow economic growth, higher borrowing costs, and significant changes to non-norm tax rules and inheritance tax exposure for some international families, many global investors are actively restructuring their wealth, reallocating the base, and looking for more predictable destinations for their capital. The point is not that Hong Kong, Singapore, or London are no longer attractive. The point is that wealthy families are no longer looking for one perfect destination. Earlier, the question was, where should I put all my wealth? Today, the question is, which destination gives me stability, access, and opportunity? For wealthy families, certainty matters just as much as tax rates. And when situations change, capital starts looking for alternatives. This is where Dubai enters the conversation. Not because Dubai has no risk, it clearly does. The recent conflict proved that Dubai is also exposed to regional uncertainty. But for many global investors, the key question is not whether a country faces pressure. The key question is whether its long-term directions remain stable. And that is where Dubai still holds its appeal. Despite the geopolitical shock, Dubai's core proposition has not changed. The UAE continues to position itself as a global business hub with relatively low taxes, investor-friendly policies, world-class infrastructure, strong connectivity, and regulatory environment designed to attract international capital. So while some investors are reassessing exposure, many are asking a different question. If Hong Kong, Singapore, London, and Dubai all have different risks, which hub gives me the right balance of opportunity, stability, and flexibility? And in that conversation, Dubai is still very much on the table. So the real question today is not which country has zero risk. No serious investor thinks like that anymore. The real question is, How should I diversify my global footprint? As investors reassess where to live, invest, and preserve their wealth, Dubai remained very much a part of that conversation. But this is where the story becomes more nuanced. What happened next was not a collapse, it was a stress test. And in a stress test, you do not judge a country simply by whether it faces pressure. You judge it by how it responds. Dubai's leadership moved quickly. Senior officials reportedly brought together hundreds of business leaders and asked direct questions. How do we bring tourists back? How do we restore investor confidence? And how do we support businesses through this period? That is not a behavior of a government shying away from a problem. That is the behavior of a leadership team trying to stop fear from becoming permanent damage. And this response was just not limited to statements and press conferences. For example, Dubai rolled out a support plan going up to 2.5 billion dirhams, focused mainly on tourism and retail. Hotels received relief through deferment of sales-related taxes and tourism fees. Businesses received rent flexibility, renewal incentives, and penalty waivers. And the central bank added liquidity support to keep credit flowing and confidence stable. The message was clear. Dubai wants to show that uncertainty may affect the market, but it will not define the market. And this is very important for long-term investors and residents. During the travel disruption, nearly 500 Golden Visa holders and UAE residents were helped to return after being stranded abroad. The UAE has already expanded consular support for Golden Visa holders, including emergency assistance, crisis response, a dedicated 24/7 hotline, and written document support if a passport is lost or damaged abroad. This matters because residency is not about tax benefits, property returns, or lifestyle. During normal times, every country looks attractive in the brochure. The real question is, what happens when things go wrong? Do residents feel abandoned or do they feel protected? In Dubai's case, the response clearly showed that long-term residents are increasingly being treated as a part of country's strategic ecosystem. Does this mean there is no risk? Absolutely not. Anyone telling you that Dubai has zero risk is overselling the story. The property market has cooled after a strong fire rally. Buyers are more price sensitive. Some developers may offer aggressive deals. Foreign investor flows in the stock market also saw pressure during the crisis. Tourism, aviation, hospitality, and retail are more exposed when regional tensions rise. So the right conclusion is not Dubai can never fail. The right conclusion is Dubai has risk, but it also has proven response capacity. And that is the difference between a destination that only looks attractive in good times and a global hub that proves itself when pressure comes. So when we hear about money moving out of Dubai, we need to understand it carefully. For some investors, this is not panic. It is portfolio balancing. They may have too much exposure to one city, one property market, or one region, so they are spreading risk across other hubs. But for many others, Dubai still remains a serious long-term base for business, residency, lifestyle, tax efficiency, and global connectivity. So the Dubai story is not ending, it is simply becoming more selective, more mature, and more strategic. The Dubai dream is not the same dream it was 5 years ago. Earlier, the story was simple. Buy property, get residency, enjoy lifestyle, and ride the growth wave. Now, the story is more mature. Investors are asking harder questions. Should I still build or expand in Dubai? Is it stable for long-term business goals? Is the ecosystem resilient enough? And if another crisis comes, will Dubai continue to support businesses and residents? That is a healthier conversation. Dubai does not need blind optimism. It needs informed confidence. And for what we have seen, the dream has not crashed. It has become tested, questioned, and forced to become more serious. For wealthy families, entrepreneurs, and global investors, the lesson is simple. Don't invest in Dubai because of hype. Invest only if it fits your long-term plan, your risk profile, and your global mobility strategy. Because Dubai's biggest strength is not that it never faces a crisis. Its biggest strength is when a crisis comes, it responds fast with confidence. So here is the question for you. After this war crisis, do you see Dubai as more risky than before or more credible because of the way it responded? Comment your view below because this debate will shape how investors look at UAE Golden Visa and Dubai property market in the years ahead.